So after a nightmare week for Boro where things couldn't really have gone much worse, we now have to sit back over the weekend, watch all of our rivals play first, and then go to one of the most informed home sides in the league. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and another episode of the Project Boro Preview Show, and today we're here to discuss another Boro's latest Monday night away trip courtesy of Sky Sports Football. We've had Bramall Lane, we've had the CBS, and in the holy trinity of hellish Monday night away games, we now have to go to Birmingham City. And we're not only having to go to Birmingham City at a tough time where they are in pretty good form. Granted, I know they lost their last game, but at home they've been in very good form for a very long time. Boro have put themselves in a pretty perilous position. We failed to take advantage in both of our home games in the last week. We've lost ground on Coventry, who've picked up maximum points in each of their last three. And although we got away with it last Saturday when we dropped points to Oxford and gained a point on everybody else, it literally couldn't have gone any worse in midweek, as Boro were the only side in the entire top six not to win. So now we are 5 points below Coventry. We are only 4 ahead of Millwall. We are only 6 ahead of Ipswich with their 2 games in hand, of course. Hull are also 6 points behind with a game in hand, and we now have tough away games to try and steady the ship. And we talk about margin for error. We talk about taking advantage of your home games. Boro failed to do that. Our margin for error has almost vanished, and now we're heading into some away games, and this one in particular that could not be much tougher, and you feel like we've got to win. And that would have been the same if it was on a Saturday, but we play on a Monday night after everybody else plays. And to add insult to injury, really, this weekend, we didn't take advantage of our home games, and we seem to be playing an alternative fixture list to Cov and Ipswich, but whenever we play away, they seem to play at home. And because we've had 2 home games, and quite honestly bottled them both, they now have home games, and very winnable ones at that. Coventry have Stoke, Ipswich have Swansea, and if they do the job that Boro couldn't do in the last week, Coventry could go 8 clear of Boro before we even play. Ipswich could be 3 points behind us with 2 games in hand, which would take them well above us, by the way, and Millwall could be within 1. So not only is this game already a huge high-pressure game, and that is all down to Boro essentially allowing it to become this high pressure. It would have been high pressure anyway. It would have been a tough game anyway. But we have made it even tougher, and we've raised the stakes even higher because of our recent poor performances. And now the ball is in the court of our rivals to really sort of stab at Boro's automatic hopes and close that gap right up to us. It is a massive game for Boro. It really, really is. And I'll be brutally honest with you guys, I've felt really positive and really optimistic about Boro's automatic promotion hopes pretty much all season. And I felt confident that we would have enough and that we would get the job done. This week has been the first time where doubts have crept in to my mind, and I've started to believe that perhaps we could be in bother and we might be about to drop out of the top 2. And let's be honest, if Ipswich win at the weekend, we fail to get anything at Birmingham. Ipswich then have their other game in hand, their first game in hand on the Tuesday night. This time next week, Boro could be 3rd, with Ipswich still having a game to play. It is, a position we shouldn't be in, and it's really, really frustrating and really concerning. And although I'm not in panic mode, I'm not throwing our chances away, I'm not saying it's all over, I do fear the last week could be a significant shift, and it could get even worse for us this weekend with arguably the toughest game of the bunch. Anyway, enough of that. Let's delve deep into our opponents, and that is Birmingham City. the champions of League One, of course, who ran to a record victory, was it, last season, a record points total in League One, rampaged the league and got up with weeks and weeks to spare. One of the most dominant League One promotion sides you've ever seen. Came up to the Championship with probably a little bit too much hype in the summer. Some were just expecting them to just go back-to-back automatic promotions. It's not been that easy, but they are starting to edge their way towards the playoffs now. And they're in an interesting side, Birmingham City, because they are still left wanting away from home, but they're extremely good at St Andrews, and that's the big problem Boro are going to have. There's a lot of top sides that have been left wanting away from home. The two that we're fighting with, Cov and Ipswich, have for long periods of the season, seem to be finding their feet now. And Birmingham, they're kind of similar in a sense, and their home stats are pretty terrifying if you're a visiting side like Boro. They've been on fire since the turn of the year. Birmingham City, yes, I know, caveat, elephant in the room, they lost midweek 3-0 away to Millwall, and that is a damaging result, and it will be one that maybe knocks confidence, but I would not jump to the conclusion that suddenly that makes them an incredibly vulnerable team that Boro can take advantage of. That could equally spur them on to absolutely batter us on Monday night. It could make them even more desperate to win and put the wrongs right on Monday, so I wouldn't read anywhere near into that defeat as maybe some would. But since New Year's Day, since their defeat to Watford on New Year's Day, they've won 5 of their last 9 games, drawing 3, and of course their defeat at Millwall was their first in 9 games, and this is a mental statistic. Now, I know they were in League One last year with an embarrassment of riches, but they've only lost 1 home game all season in the Championship, and that was to Hull, a 3-2 defeat in October. That's their only home league defeat in what I believe is their last 40 home games in the league. They've lost 1 in 40 home league games. Absolutely mental. They went unbeaten in League One at home, didn't lose any of their 23 home games last season. Of course, they've only lost 1 of however many home games it is they've played this season, 16. And they did also have a few unbeaten last time they were in the Championship before they went relegated. Their last home defeat prior to the Hull one was April 2024 against Cardiff. So they don't see their side lose at St Andrews very often. It's only happened once in the last 22 months. In terms of this season, they've won 8 of their 16 home games, so exactly half. They have drew a few, if you are trying to pick out tiny little bits of hope and positivity. 7 draws, but still only the 1 defeat, scoring 30 goals at home and conceding 15. That means that in terms of home form, they have conceded the 5th least number of goals. Only Southampton, Ipswich, Cov and Boro have conceded less at home than what Birmingham have this season. So this great home form, you'd think would have them higher, but they're actually only 10th. 13 games won, 10 drew, 11 lost, 45 goals scored, 43 conceded. You would be right to suggest that it is their away form that has let them down enormously. They've lost 10 of their 18 away games this season. Their home form has propped them up enormously, but it is very, very strong. Looking at some of their numbers, they're smack bang in the middle of the league, actually, for goals scored, which surprised me. I thought they'd be higher. They're 12th for goals scored in the Championship, but again, massive difference in their home and away numbers. Of the 45 goals they've scored this season, 30 have came at home, so 2/3 of their goal tally have came at St Andrews, and interestingly enough, they're very high in the XG charts. They're 5th for XG. Only Sheffield United, Ipswich, Southampton and Coventry have created more high-quality chances than Birmingham. They have been underperformers in front of goal. So they are amongst one of the top creative sides in the Championship. They just have let them down at times. And there are plenty of other stats to back up how creative of a side they are. They've created the 4th most big chances in the league. They've had the 3rd most big chances missed in the league as well. Despite that, only the 14th most shots on target, which tells me they get a lot of big chances and are rather wasteful. But I'd rather be a team that creates chances and doesn't put them away than one that doesn't create at all. This is a side who will create opportunities on Monday night. Defensively, again, decent, but they are massively underperforming at the back. You thought they were underperforming going forwards. It's even worse at the back because they have the joint 10th best defence in the Championship. They've conceded 43 goals. So again, nothing all that special, but they've got the third highest XG against numbers in the league. Only Ipswich and Boro have conceded and let up less high-quality opportunities. So they've conceded almost 10 goals more than they're expected. I don't know if that's down to teams scoring worldies against them or goalkeeping errors or whatever. Birmingham fans can let me know in the comments, but they are a side who do not give up many high-quality chances despite their goals against being maybe a little bit worse off than what we expected. So basically, their underlying numbers are excellent, and that over the course of the season usually levels out to a side being very high in the Championship. So having XG numbers and chance creation numbers that are in the top 5, having XG against numbers and defensive numbers that has them in the top 3, I think they will balance out eventually, and Birmingham will be a playoff side by the end of the season. As for their team, well, it's disgusting, quite honestly, for a League One side who've just come up. They've got some fantastic players in this team. They play with a 4-2-3-1, and interestingly enough, a lot of the players who are starting for them at the minute, they brought in January. They seem to have had one of the best January windows, I think, of any side in the league. It's got to be up there with one of the best windows in the Championship. And a lot of their best players statistically weren't even starting their last game. That is the crazy thing. Their bench is quite incredible. They play a 4-2-3-1. Interestingly, all of their January signings have came in, and you can tell by their form since January have made an immense difference. One of them will be missing the weekend, though. John Solis was sent off in their last game. He will miss the game against Boro, but still, they've got Kai Wagner at left back. He's a new signing who's gone straight in. Both of their wingers have came in and made a massive difference. Ibrahim Osman on the left, on loan from Brighton. Probably the most noteworthy, Carlos Vicente from Spain. I think they signed him from one of the La Liga clubs. He's come in and been very, very impressive. He'll probably start off the right. They've also got a brand new centre forward up front. August Prisk might start up top. So all of them players have only just come in and instantly improved their 11. That means that they've got a bench that consists of the likes of Damari Gray, Tommy Doyle, Marvin Dukst, Patrick Roberts. There's some fantastic players on their bench. Incredible players who've got so many goal contributions. On the pitch, you've got Jay Stansfield, 14 goal contributions up top. And Damari Gray didn't start midweek. He's got 9 goal contributions. Dutch has 9 as well. He didn't start in midweek. Patrick Roberts, he didn't start. He's on the bench. He's got 7. So whether they start with these guys or they rested them to start against Boro, they've got a very, very good 11 and also a very, very good bench. And I think that depth was strengthened enormously in January, and they've got a very, very strong Championship side. They really, really do. And yeah, they're going to play, as they always do, at St Andrews with an incredible intensity. And Boro have got to somehow find a way of matching it. We've got to somehow find a way of standing up to the occasion. The atmosphere will be raucous, I'm sure. They'll be right up for it. They'll come out the blocks quickly. Boro cannot afford to have a slow start. We cannot afford to carry the same lethargy that we did in the last game against Leicester. We have to be bright, we have to be sharp, and we have to try and match them stride for stride. Otherwise, we will be in trouble. As for the Boro 11, I have made changes. There are the usual players that simply have to start in there, of course, but I've made a change at the back. Safe to say Luke Ayling had a shocker at the weekend and in midweek. Well, he didn't play the weekend, against Coventry and against Leicester. I think it's time Dale Fry comes in to the team now. I just feel like, Monday night St Andrews, I worry for Luke Ayling. with his current form. Everyone else I've kept the same, other than I've took Morgan Whittaker out for Jeremy Sarmiento. I think McGree obviously starts on one side. Morgan Whittaker, he's offered nothing for a good few games now. I think his purple patch of goal scoring has well and truly came to an end, and we've gone back to the player who we were seeing at the start of the season, where you question if he doesn't score or assist, what does he do? And looking back at the game on Tuesday, there are clips where he is just jogging into the box when he should be busting a gut to get on the end of things. His work rate, it looked off. It wasn't right. I didn't like it. So I would take him out and I would start Sarmiento. And, I think Hellberg really rates Sarmiento, and he's not going to drop McGree. So I do hope Sarmiento gets a chance here, because at least he is someone who, out of possession, will run his arse off. In possession, he's tricky. He will beat a man. He will try and make things happen. I thought he definitely did that against Leicester in midweek. So they are the only changes I would make. The other was maybe target for Munro, but I wouldn't chuck Munro in a game like this. If you're at home where you think you're going to be having most of the ball and you're going to be attacking, then yeah, maybe you can give Munro a chance. But I think in this game, you need a more defensively sound fullback. And I think if Target's got a strength, it's probably his defending. So I would keep him in for this game, but my God, he's going to have a tough game up against Vicente, as is Britain on the other side, against Osman or Roberts, whichever of the two come in to the team. So, my prediction, and you guys may have watched my championship predictions video that I did yesterday, where I predicted all of the games in the championship. Yeah, we need some of the teams around us to drop the same ball we've dropped in the last two games, and I don't know if it's going to happen. Cov, winnable game. Ipswich, winnable game. Millwall, winnable game. Boro could be going into this one, and the table could look even tighter than it already does. This is a big game. It really is, and Boro are in a position where we've now got to go to Birmingham and really pick up a big win here, because a draw, I don't think, will be enough unless some miracle results happen elsewhere over the weekend. And going to Birmingham and winning is something that only one side has done in the last 22 months in the league. So as much as I would love to be positive and say we're going to win, you guys know that's not me. I'm a realist. And I won't just predict Boro to win for the sake of it. I will give my honest opinion. I think the best result we can hope for is a draw, unfortunately. And, the side that went to Sheffield United and won the other week, that's the level of performance I think we're going to need to pick up another victory on Monday. And forgive me, but after the last two performances, I can't see it. I'm delighted to be wrong. We might click and go on another winning run. There's every chance we can go and win against Birmingham on Monday. I'm not writing off that we can't. Of course we can. But do I think we will? No, I don't. And I've been more so concerned that if we don't match their intensity, if we don't match their aggression, we could quite easily get overrun and we could lose this game quite easily. So this is the time, Boro, to chest out, stand up to what will be a very difficult night and a very tough night. But it's the sort of night equally which, if you do go there and win, you're the first team to do it in months. You're only the second team to do it in almost 2 years. It is the sort of game which can suit Boro. They're not going to sit back and defend Birmingham. I don't think they'll do what Coventry did either. I think they will absolutely throw everything at us to win the game. They're chasing playoffs. They've got an incentive. Open games do suit us. We will get more space. It will allow us to play, and hopefully it will allow us to really get into our gear. And if we were to win, it's the sort of result that changes the narrative completely. And yeah, we might only match the results of everyone else, and it might just keep us where we are. I'd love it if Cov and Ipswich were to drop points. More so Ipswich. I think Cov have gone. I think they've won the league. It could be the weekend where if Ipswich draw and we win here, suddenly the script has shifted completely. And what a way to, reignite the running than a win at St Andrews. It is the sort of game that is in front of us, which could be also, it could be the worst game to lose this. It could be the best game to win at the same time. It really, really could. This is where I think we are, not on a knife edge, but the automatic promotion race for us could go one of two ways here. We are at a bit of a crossroads. If we lose here, Coventry could be gone if they're not gone already, and then Ipswich have a chance the very next night to maybe level or even go above us. Hull have the chance to be right there. Millwall have the chance to be within a point. That's when you start really getting a little bit nervy and twitchy. Or, if things go your way, it could be the springboard to a promotion and a run of results that gets us over the line. I feel like this game is literally that. It is the crossroads. Which way you're going to go, Boro? And I would love us to win. Love nothing more. And of course we can. But my realistic hat on, I don't think we will. I'm going to go with a draw. I'm going to go Birmingham 2, Boro 2. And although, yeah, you'd probably say that's a good point in isolation because of the position we've left ourselves in with recent drop points and the gap that's closed up and the potential gap that might close even further at the weekend over the Saturday games. A point's not enough, I don't think. For us to really feel comfortable and confident, a point ain't enough. Unfortunately, we got to win. We'll see. That's my thoughts anyway. So, let me know your thoughts, feelings, and predictions on this one in the comments, whether you're a Boro fan, Birmingham fan, or neutral. Subscribe to the channel. If you're new, we review and preview every game here on the channel for the Boro, and of course do predictions for as many championship rounds as we can. And I'll be back Tuesday, I guess, to review whatever happens at St Andrews. Maybe if I can get it out quickly enough, there might be a video that drops extremely late on Monday night, because it was a game I was going to go to, but because Sky moved it, I can't go anymore. Thanks, Sky. But anyway, do take care. Fingers crossed for a really positive weekend. And yeah, until then, take care. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Up the Boro.